Well, there you are. Again, Charlie Greer podcast. I do this every day. Today, Delphi murders, sealed, gagged. Why? Before we do, please like, share, and subscribe. That's the best way to support the channel. If you do want to support the channel, the information is in the description for Cash App. Tag at the Cash App is Charlie Greer Podcast. Again, Cash App, Charlie Greer Podcast. And then Zelle is my email, which is charlesdavidgreer@gmail.com. And I'd appreciate it. So, Delphi murders, sealed, gagged. Why? Before we do, let's pray for Abby and Libby, the families, law enforcement, everything. And spread the blessings. You know, it's a dark subject. So, sealed, gagged. Why? So I was happened to be, because I don't watch the news a lot, and I happened to be over a friend's house yesterday, and they had Fox News on, and they were talking about the Idaho murders, and it was so they had like a law specialist, like a lawyer who, like, their top, he does their, uh, he talks about the law and the, this, that, and the other thing. So he was like saying how actually it's rare, and lately it is in these small communities. Like he said, in Idaho, it wouldn't have, they wouldn't have sealed or gagged anything if it had been in the bigger town, So you're saying like there's this phenomenon where there's these weird crimes going on, smaller areas, and then they seal and gag the whole bit, everything, the lot of it all. They don't want anybody. I didn't really understand, like, you got to seal certain things and gag, but it's he was saying it's rare, and it's actually not good, because the public needs to know certain things, not everything, but that's how our law process kind of operates, and in the case of like the Delphi murders, what is it, 20,000 people in that county. The same cast of characters are involved. I'm talking about behind the scenes as far as like the Flora fire and the Delphi. And in the Flora fire, they actually sued not to release the 911 call. Now, what would be on a 911 call that would be so important that they had to and kind of sue themselves? Like, it was like, huh? Why would they do that? It's the same prosecutor who did that. McClellan, or whatever his name is. It's the same county. And, so there's 20,000 people in that county. There happened to be an FBI agent in that county that day. What? And then they just ascended. So usually when there's a missing persons, you got to give it some time. It seems strange how right off the bat, those girls, like, I know they said, we posted on Facebook and everybody showed up, but man, by the next day, they had like how many? All the roads blocked, this, that, and the other. CSI trucks, helicopters. I mean, I get it. You want to find, two missing girls, but don't you think that's suspicious? Not even 24 hours later, they're again. You want to be, concerned and looking and this and that and the other. It's like somebody knew or something else was going on, like a sting. Maybe it had to do with like drugs or something like that, because they said, "Oh, we were in town to, and then they just descended." Have you seen that helicopter footage? Man, there's so many people there. What sparked off? Again, it's concerning. Your two girls are missing, but it seems like something else. It seems like there is something else going on. Very strange they didn't find the girls that first night, considering if you go down the back of Ron Logan's, there's a path. And didn't Ron Logan say that the path led right to the crime scene? Now, I've heard some people say, well, that path was because after they found the girls, that the workers were coming back, they made the path. But then again, I've heard be like, no, that path has been there. There's just so much strange stuff. Nobody knew where the mayor was, and then he said he was at a minute meeting or whatever, or something like that. Then they can't put him there. Then Ron Logan's lying about where he was just in that time period where the girls were murdered, and nobody even knew they were murdered yet. Like, they were discovered. Don't you think that's strange? They got video of the perp. They got audio. He's short. He's tall. Now they got Richard Allen, who's like, what, 4'11"? I don't even know, 5'4". I mean, this, you couldn't make this up. If you were pitching this as a movie to a studio or something, like, oh, well, hey, you know, this is a little too much. You got to bring it down. You know, the Anthony Schatz account and then the Kleins. And it's just so strange. It's just my gut feeling is something else was going on. Was there a sting operation? Maybe not even about murder or something. Maybe it was like a meth. I don't even know. There's just some strange stuff about this case. Again, why seal and gag the case? In the floor fires, why did they seal the 911? They won't even release the 911 call. Usually that's the first thing they release, 911. We've all heard that on the news. Every kind of crime show you watch, there was with the 911. That's our public record, people. You understand? They're using your tax dollars to do this. You got to remember that. It's for our good. Now, granted, you don't want to. I mean, if do they have anything on the floor fires too? Like, it just seems like, no, well, don't worry about that. You know, it's all, you know, they're not even, are they even investigating that? And you would think if they had an investigation going on and they had a perp, maybe you would withhold the 911 call because did he call it? Who knows? You know, but for nothing to happen and then just to seal it up. Because if you're trying to get away with, again, there's levels of corruption, there's levels of crime. Crime is weird. Certain people might not have done the crime, but are related to other things in their life. So if that gets affected, it's all connected somehow. Not even as like, you know, cover. It's just that, you know, I don't want to say too much. I just censor myself here on YouTube. I'm already getting shadow, whatever the hell. Every day I lose subscribers. They shave views. People can't find my podcast. I have even friends can't comment on my videos. I don't see comments. So I have to censor myself. But it is something is afoot. And I say this about every podcast I do on the Delphi. I'm not a true crime podcaster. There's people that are a lot better, doing really good work. Sleuth Intuition, he's one of the best. Check out Ruckus Rocks, Unresolved Crime. There's a few out there, deep divers, and so if you come here for all the, I'm not the, but I got fascinated with this case. Again, my podcast is all over the place. I'm an artist. I've lived an artist's life, but this case is extremely concerning, and it just keeps going on, and they do the weirdest stuff. That 2019 presser, nothing makes sense in a linear fashion leading to Richard Allen, meaning all the stuff that they've said, switching gears and this, that, and the other. He might be in the room. Oh my God, he hiding in plain sight, and it's about power. Did Richard Allen have any power? He worked at the CVS. You know, I'm not job shaming him. It's just that and then the Kleins, and then the Anthony Schatz account, and then they're in the river searching, and they take Keegan Klein out of jail, and he's at a military base, and it just, you know, they find the bullet that they've known about this bullet, and then it matches to the gun of Richard Allen, and then there's what they came forward. There was witnesses that saw a guy covered in blood and mud. Does any of this stuff make sense? Does Richard Allen look like the bridge guy? Is the bridge guy planted evidence? See, there's something wrong. Something's weird. Again, my gut is telling me there's a bigger sting. Like, you have to let people, you can't, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. Are they onto some corruption around there? So they have to let these people make their bed before they swoop in and get them. The prosecutor there, he looks like he's going through some health issues, man. Looks like all his hair is falling out. He's swelled up on, I don't know. I've heard somebody say that they were kicked out of bars, and they, you know, He's doing major tells, like his eyebrows. He's doing like that. When you fake concern. Tobe Lesenby at that when they did the Richard Allen press conference, he's up there acting like he says, "Oh yeah," that sounded like a minister. Whatever. It just once he admitted that he was one of the suspects in the beginning, and he laughed about it like he was proud. Like, yeah, they thought I was a. That's a major tell. If you were a suspect, wouldn't that be considered like, oh my God, I can't believe they thought I was? You'd be really upset, not him. He was like, yeah, he thought it was funny. Who does that? You know who does that? Narcissists and sociopaths. I'm not saying definitely a psychopath. And we know there's crooked cops. I'm not saying he is one. Again, this is assumption. My humble opinion, speculation. I don't know. I just know that this is the strangest shit I've ever seen. I mean, everything's sealed and this and that and the other, and the judge resigns from the case. And what are people scared of? What is it about that area? Nobody's talking. Again, you have to take this with a grain of salt, but I had an email sent to me from this psychic who I guess was involved, contacted Delphi PD or whatever the hell. And they said, well, they didn't say too much. They were talking. I even emailed them back. I said, look, man, you got to give me a little bit more. I mean, if you're gonna, you told me your name. You haven't told me any of these names. You want, or he or she, whoever it is, won't give any names. So it is, again, with a grain of salt. But they were saying that out of all the podcasts that they've watched about Delphi, they said that I was on, some of the stuff I said was right on the money, but they didn't tell me what, And I emailed them back and I haven't heard anything. So again, you could take it for a grain of salt. I don't think that I like to watch other podcasters. I'm not trying to, again, I just visit this world. I'm not a true crime. I don't, say that I'm an artist. I mean, I can't solve even problems in my own life. So how would I, I'm just fascinated with this case. And I feel it kind of involves us all. And it kind of, it's concerning that it affects us all. This is a little small town. Then in that county, there's only 20,000 people. Why are all these murders? Why the FBI? Why are these problems? Why is there like whispers of the cartel and this, that, and the other? And the law enforcement, it's just like, just visually looking at them, it's like, huh, what? Are you serious? Like the good old boy club. And pardon me. And just no concern. It seems like they're not even, again, that 2019 presser, man, I'll never get over that. How they treat, like they just, in Tobe's face, he was going red and he looked like he was about to pass out. And, he may be in the room. I can't believe they said that. And then they kind of scolded people if you asked, well, we're not going to answer it. Well, what you just said, the strangest thing that anybody probably was ever said in a press, really, I mean, a presser. Come on, you're the one that said it. Now you don't want people to. Of course, people are going to be. I kind of have a theory that they were given that information right before they didn't have time to digest it. Maybe the FBI, And again, if Tobe was considered a suspect, who suspected him? You understand what I mean? It wasn't local, his cronies. He knows everybody that he works with. They worked at the jail together and this and that, and they came up. You're telling me his friend, his ride or dies? Kind of, no. Had to be something else. Had to be like the FBI. Who else would it be? Again, assumption. It's my humble opinion. I'm just asking questions. Question mark. I don't know. I don't have a POI or anything. It is strange about the Ron Logan lie, wanting to be cut for that time period, just within that, before people knew the girls were even murdered, and before they, the coroner said what time it was and when they were murdered, for them to, that's strange. I'm not saying Ron Logan did it. I'm just saying that's weird. where people set up? Was this a crime of like, that's what criminals will do. That's what psychopaths will do. They'll set stuff up to make it look like, they blame people. That's a thing. Crime is weird. Seems to me something's going on. A setup, a fall guy, something. It seems like Richard Allen is low-hanging fruit. Like, yeah, he might be involved somehow. Maybe he is. Maybe he's the only perp. I don't know. It just seems with the Anthony Shots account and the Kleins and there's multiple witnesses like, oh, he was in a blue jacket and blue jeans. Another was like, well, there was all dressed in black. Like, they seemed like there was two, at least two. And the muddy, bloody dude, don't you think that's strange? And the bullet, like, supposed to be between the victims. It's like, wouldn't they have traced every gun that bullet could have, that people bought ammo? I don't know. You would think they would. It's a small little area. 20,000 people in the whole county. Now, I came across this case. I remember the first time I heard about it, I remember they had billboards like all over America. And I thought it was weird. They had a picture of this guy on a bridge. They couldn't find him. But I didn't really go down the rabbit hole until that night, I happened to be on my laptop watching like true crime stuff. And then that just happened to be referred to me, the Anthony Shots. I was like, what? That's about that. Yeah, that murder. And then I went down the rabbit hole and I was like, oh my God, started watching all these videos. So again, I'm kind of new to the game. There's people that have been on this for years. I'd recommend, again, Sleuth Intuition, Ruckus Rocks, Unresolved Crime. Those guys do some deep diving, and they're good at what they do it right. And I'm just parroting, like a parrot, what I see or I've done a little Googling and this, that, and the other. And people have contacted me, again, emailed or commented. What do you think? Comment below. Do you think that there's something else? It just seems like it. One perp was dressed like the bridge guy. There's witnesses of that. Other witnesses said someone was all in black, taller. So there was one guy that was like shorter, one guy that was taller. What is that? And then with the little tweaking of the video and the audio, well, you can make it sound just about everything. The three audios, there's three versions of the Down the Hill audio. They all sound different, a little bit different. Again, with a little tweaking on you could make him sound like Mickey Mouse. You know what I mean? He could, and he was short and stocky. Then he was big. And he, definitely 6 foot. We've done all these, crazy analysis. They're out there with like, trying to think. Now they're saying that, how tall is Richard Allen? Like 5'4"? What did he look like? Did he have a big, he's got that beard. What did he look like around that? Are there pictures of him around that time? And let's say that witness said they did see someone bloody and muddy. Well, wouldn't his car be bloody and muddy? How do you explain that to your wife? Oh, yeah, I hit a deer. I mean, what are you going to, huh? Did he clean it up? I don't know. Why is it sealed? Why is there a gag order? Again, when I was watching the news that last night, it was about the Idaho murders, but this law expert, who was a lawyer, he works for Fox News or whatever, was saying like it's rare, and there's this phenomenon happening in smaller towns where doesn't matter what, they just seal it, gag it. It almost seems like that is the purpose of law enforcement, is just to get this. Maybe they're, they weren't prepared. They just want to seal everything, and they don't care about a conviction. They just don't want people to know what happened. I'm not saying they're involved, but if there's corruption, you're told what to do. You would think that there'd be some kind of oversight committee, or maybe there is a bigger sting. Doug Carter admitted that there is the biggest operation ever in the history of Indiana off of the Klein phone. Who is he connected to? Again, he might not have known, because people use like, fake names online, and it just seems really strange. It seems like something else is going on. Who is the guy in all black? Who is the bridge guy? Does he look like Richard Allen to you? Are there people? I know there's deep divers and people that know, they can use a video program and superimposing and this and that. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like, because if he is the only perpetrator in this crime, does it mean that then the Anthony Shots account doesn't mean anything? Is that even is it a separate thing? Is Keegan Kline a confidential informant? Are there other confidential informants? Will we ever find out? What do you think? Comment below. What is your take on this? It seems like it's heartbreaking to think that just to cover up stuff in their own lives, like maybe they, people know each other, man, in a small town, and maybe they, who knows? Again, I don't want to say much, but there's stuff maybe not even connected to this crime, but people know each other and they just don't want to. It might be bad for the case. It seems like this is going to be thrown out and then they're going to seal everything. We're never going to know. And then they can say, well, we were wrong. If it wasn't for us making those, we lost the fingerprint and this, that, and the other. And what about KK searching that gas station, that certain gas station? What is that? And then the FBI corrupting the hard drive. So supposedly they couldn't get they saw it, which I think standard, they're supposed to videotape anytime they play it. They should have videotaped with their phone first just to get, then they used the thumb drive. It didn't work. So they gave them the hard drive and somehow they corrupted the hard drive. This is the FBI with the most sophisticated equipment, this and that. And that's what they did. I mean, again, this is I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. It seems like the Three Stooges are running this case. They just yeah. What? Is it just me? Is it just, strange. All those people that were on the trail that day, and they supposedly had cameras, and it's a small town. People's cars, this, that, and the other. Everybody's on that trail. How many people did they say were on that trail at the time of the? Nobody heard any screaming. There was a thing of an arguing couple. Have they found out who that was? Were they really arguing? Was that part of the crime? And the brothers that kind of run that trail system, you need an Excel spreadsheet to keep up with all this stuff. It's like an Agatha Christie mystery, like shit. Murder, She Wrote episode. It's just crazy. But Occam's razor, they usually say that, the simplest explanation is usually the truth. Are we looking too abstract at things, or we should just focus? Again, what do you think? Comment below. Again, I don't have a POI because there's so many weird things going on. Did Richard Allen know Keegan Kline? Did Richard Allen know Ron Logan? Did they all know each other? Was it just online? Why did they wait 30 days to search Ron Logan's property? Why did Ron Logan look exactly like Bridge Guy, basically? Like that hat had the same dent, all that. I'm not saying that he, again, could that be planted? Because could that have been, they found that phone. What do you think that he would see that he was being filmed? I don't know. His head was down. I don't know. Why haven't they released the whole? They said it was 47 seconds. They've released what? A couple seconds? Why? What's so important in that? The other 40 seconds that will they play that in court? Again, why is it sealed? And why is there a gag order? After seeing that law expert on the news last night, I opened my like, wait a minute, this is kind of rare. Like a lot of bigger metropolises, like people, it's hard to get something sealed and gagged, he was saying. It seems like there's this phenomenon where in these smaller communities, well, it's easy to get stuff sealed and gagged, and they shouldn't be doing it, but they do it. And it's just not in Delphi or Idaho murder and the Flora. It's a thing. Why? Why is it just because of these smaller communities? I said in a big city, they would have never even done it. Why seal the Florida 911 call? What's on that call? So they say their explanation is, well, it would hurt the case. We don't want to. What's on it that would hurt the case? And what's up with that guy? Didn't they look into the guy who the first, and he was like covered in accelerant or something like that? It was in his car and everything. Like, why aren't they looking into him? And hasn't he been involved in like a few other mysterious fires? Like he just happened to be the first one on like 2 or 3 fires, or maybe 4 or 5. I don't know. I know something's strange. Why didn't the FBI swoop in with the floor like they did on the Delphi? It's the same county. Again, the people behind the scenes on the Flora fire and the Delphi murders are the same cast of characters, same law enforcement, same prosecute, same everything. Probably the same FBI, because FBI is local. You know what I mean? They don't take. People are from they use FBI. Every state has an FBI office and stuff. They use people that live in the area. Pardon me. What is it that they're trying? It seems like they're trying to hide something. Why haven't they explained that he might be in the room? I mean, Doug Carter, in one interview, he did say, well, if he wasn't in the room, we think he was nearby. Well, I guess that's an explanation, but why would you say that? Did they want to get a reaction from everybody? They just kind of didn't know. They also said they were shifting gears. Well, what were they shifting gears? What gear were they in? What were they on to? Again, I know, look, they got to keep their cards close to their chest. I get it, but it's just frustrating. What do you think? Comment below. Do you think it should be sealed and gagged? And if so, why? Who suspected Tobe Lesenby? He admitted that he was a suspect. Who suspected him? Was it local police officers? Was it the FBI? Was it state police? Again, he didn't say. Will we find this out in the trial? Is there going to be a trial? Comment below. Again, I do this every day, so you can see me tomorrow. Not necessarily about the Delphi, but you never know. Lately, it's been driving me crazy. Again, please like, share, and subscribe. That's the best way that you can support the channel. If you want to support the channel, there's information in the description for Cash App, which is charliegreerpodcast. Hit me up. I'd appreciate it. Zelle, it's my email, charlesdavidgreer@gmail.com. I'd really appreciate it. I need better equipment. I need that. I need. I sound like Bill Murray. What about Bob? But I love y'all. Be blessed. Cheers.